These are the VRS Direct Force Pro pedals. So it's a high-end product, stainless steel construction with an industrial aesthetic. Very, very adjustable. All three pedals, the pedal faces in terms of height, depth, angle are fully adjustable, and overall pedal angle is also adjustable. Now, if we look at the throttle pedal first, we have quite a unique design here. So we have a rodless spring, which doesn't quite look right to the eye, but functionally performs extremely well. Absolutely no friction whatsoever, so really nice, smooth response. And we have a lot of adjustability here in terms of initial starting force, preload, and also overall force and pedal travel. So if we move on to the brake, we have similar levels of adjustability, a very high-end, heavy-duty construction. We have the blue spring on here at the moment, which tolerates a 65 kilogram maximum force. Also supplied is the optional red spring, which doubles that to 130 kilograms. These are linear springs, which is not normally how a real-life brake pedal feels. So we have this very clever mechanism on the back here, which basically turns that into a progressive, more realistic feeling, which gives you quite a decent bit of travel for low-level trail braking, and then more of a ramp up when you're really braking much harder. And we have this tie rod at the top, which is fully adjustable, along with preload, so you can really fine-tune that exact force shape to your preference. On the clutch, we have a similar level of adjustability in terms of pedal face and also the shape of the curve. So we try to emulate a clutch plate, which is stiff initially and then flattens out as the clutch gives way. So that's emulated here with a small amount of adjustability, including overall travel as well. So we're very happy with this product, and we hope you are too.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit IRacing.com.
If you're looking to get serious in sim racing, one of the first things to do is upgrade your wheelbase and pedals. The powerful force feedback in our direct drive wheelbase makes a huge difference, and our highly adjustable precision pedals will give you the consistency you need to improve. So you'll not only get the best value for your money, but you'll also benefit from our quick, local shipping from Australia and save even more. Our transparent pricing has GST included, so there's no nasty surprises at checkout or further customs, delays and charges. And if you're near Melbourne, you can simply pick up your hardware from our showroom and get a free product walkthrough from one of our VRS coaches. We offer excellent customer service after the sale, and our hardware is made of the highest quality components. To get yours today, just go to the URL on the screen or click on the button below. But hurry, stock is always limited due to high demand. So if you want to get faster, sooner, VRS is your answer.
Control, feel the thorn, my soul, through the danger, through the pain, only one thing to do to get to victory lane, taking risks, full send, and in the end, be the best, taking over, cannot contain, the desire, get to victory. pain. I hear the echoes of the past, the roaring ghosts that never last. But here I stand, the finish line, one last race, one time, through it all past the pain, cutting laps, making gains, feeling tired, get to my aim. The desire to get to victory, speeding faster, no control, feel the thunder in my soul, through the danger, through the pain, only one thing to do to get to victory lane, taking risks, full send, and in the end, be the best, it's taking over, cannot contain, the desire to get to victory lane.
The sights and sounds of sports car racing returns to the iRacing World Challenge here this evening as we are in for 11 rounds of World Tour Porsche Cup action. Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to the IRWC, to Infinity Broadcasting, and to the VRS Virtual Racing School Porsche Cup Series for Season 3. Round 1 here this evening out at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Hamish Munro here with you. Alongside me once again this season is Brenton O'Brien here this evening. Brenton, it's a big season up for grabs for these drivers. There's been some changes in the back end in terms of classifying drivers now, with 3 classes across the same car type. There's a defending champion in Sam Muir who'll hope to go back-to-back this season, and there's glory on offer for everyone across the field.
Yeah, good morning to Hamish. Good morning, good evening to Hamish, and good evening to all. Yeah, great to be back for another season, and it should be an exciting season ahead. And the splitting the field up into these classes just adds that little bit more, doesn't it? And gives those in the midfield and lower field something to race for. So the racing will be spectacular, and the racing will be deep throughout, no doubt.
It will indeed. I do apologise as well. Through all my setting up of getting things prepared, I completely forgot to change the Season 2 overlay to the Season 3 one, so we'll get that ready up for next week. Let's have a quick look though at tonight's circuit for round 1 this evening. Of course, it's the home of some great sports car racing events across the US, including IMSA, Michelin Pilot Challenge as well, and obviously most famous for its famous corner, the corkscrew, very Dipper-esque out at the Bathurst, out at Bathurst as well. But as we trickle our way on in, we'll get a beautiful look of this circuit. It's one that can be a little bit highly contested between drivers. Some love it, some hate it, some are a little bit in between, but for 3.6 Ks and for 60 minutes, we're racing around here tonight for a feature race. It'll all start on the main straight, and then the run up through turn 1 and then down towards the hard braking zone and the Andretti hairpin at turn 2. This is an early spot on this track, Brenton, where we could see cars getting maybe a little bit loose, maybe into contact, but also an area which is a high likelihood of seeing cars ending up in the sand trap. If they carry a little bit too much speed, they brake a little bit too late, they can just head straight on and off into the sand. And of course, Porsches can do Porsche things and decide to lose the rear end mid-apex, and you could go around and face it the wrong way. It's an early spot for incidents, it's an early spot for a safety car, but it's more importantly an early spot for drivers to lose positions in this race.
Really is, and from my experience, I've done many laps here, generally in a supercar to be fair, but I find this track pretty difficult. It's not one of my favourites, not going to lie. But one of the problems I find with this track, why I find it difficult, is that the grip level just seems to change so quickly here. It doesn't matter what the weather temp is or what the track condition is. The grip level just seems to change so suddenly. You'd be coming into a corner one lap and you'd have a pretty confidence under brake and you turn in, and nothing seems to have changed between that lap and the next lap, and it just seems completely different though. So, you know, hopefully a few of our drivers don't get caught out tonight. There's obviously, looking at the track surface already, there's quite a bit of kitty litter or gravel on the surface already. Hopefully that doesn't trip a few people over. But yeah, look, it's got the potential to could be a bit messy tonight. And a lot of these guys being the first round, and we've got a couple of debutants as well. Yeah, let's just see how they go. I think we've got 31 on the grid, so it's a good field. Different variations of lap time certainly is, but that's why we've got the 3 separate splits.
That's exactly right. I think the sections to look at tonight, obviously turn 2, 3, 4. Actually nearly every single corner of this track we've got to keep an eye on, because every single one has got a sand trap on its exit. and on its outside, and we could see incidents happening everywhere, but the main one, of course, would be the corkscrew down at 8 and 8-9, 8A as well. So this circuit's going to be tough for drivers. As I said, 60 minutes of racing for them, so it's not going to be an easy night on the road, necessarily speaking, for them as they head out there for qualifying. As they do just start their opening laps, we'll just give you a little rundown, of course, of our calendar for this season. Of course, tonight we start at Laguna Seca for a feature round. Next week we head out to Homestead, Miami for Road Course B for the rush, our first rush round of the season. Chicago Street Course will then take on round 3 for a sprint round. Road America round 4 for a feature. Montreal for round 5 for a rush round. Alton Park in round 6 for a sprint round. Zandvoort in round 7 for a rush. Algarve, Portimao for round 8 in a feature. Imola for a sprint in round 9. We head to Bathurst for a special Saturday night event as a support category for the Pro Series finale weekend for the Gamesman GT Pro Series, and the Logitech G Supercars Pro Series as well. We'll be racing on Saturday night in a rush round out at Bathurst, and then the Monday after, it'll be the finale round out at Belle Isle, the 2 30-minute feature races to come your way in that one. But as I said, tonight we are out at the wonderful Laguna Seca. 60 minutes, it's a tough track to go a long distance on, Brenton. It's one where it'll really test you. Strategy could be key. Undercut can also have a factor as well. Drivers are going to have to be incredibly cautious in how they approach it, and hope that there isn't too much tarmac rust on them off the break.
Yeah, a lot of elevation at this track. Obviously, you were talking about the corkscrew before. I think the most important 2 corners here are turn 5 and 6. Turn 5, you can get a good drive up that hill. That will set you up for turn 6. But turn 6 tightens on exit just so many. Like, a lot of cars seem to try and carry too much speed through there, and there's quite a significant curbing on the outside, which can cause some damage. So looking out for that at the top of the hill. And when we go to, you've got someone we've got on site now. We just saw Ben Pedersen actually just currently do a disconnect, and he's only just trying to find his way in. So that's a worry for him straight away. There's a bit going on there, especially for race 1. We've got Alan Dawson that we're looking at now. Now, Alan was someone who really, really improved significantly in the latter part of last season. Looking forward to seeing what he can bring if he adds consistency throughout the season. So, yeah, like he's going to be thereabouts. Will he challenge for the championship? I'm not sure. A lot of it would be on his consistency. I don't doubt the pedigree at all in regards to him finishing the race high up, but whether he's got that speed that the Pedersens have, that the Muirs have, that the Benefields have, not so sure, but happy to be proven wrong.
Now, I made a claim in the off-season that I thought that Stefan Lawrence was the better of the Riot drivers out of himself and Alan Dawson, not even realising that they're actually stepbrothers.
Is that right?
But also, what I've realised over the pre-qualifying week last week as well, Alan set pre-qualifying time, Stefan didn't. So Stefan's ended up in silver class based on his I rating. Pretty much everyone in gold class who didn't set times were stuck there because they've got over 3K I rating, and I didn't think it would be fair to put them into silver. Silver class is between 2K and 3K, and then in the bronze class is anyone under 2K. That's for drivers who did not pre-qualify, as Ellie Gardner's gone straight to the top of the timesheets as part of that silver class. Now, we will be reviewing how drivers go in the first 3 rounds, and some classes may change. They are scored on an overall scale, so from P1 back to last place, that's how they're scored. They're not scored amongst their classes, so it actually won't affect their championship if they are moved between different classes on an overall sense. It will just affect where they situate in their classes themselves. But for an initial, first time classifying drivers, I thought that was the fairest way to do it when some drivers didn't do it, and I didn't think it'd be fair to put the likes of Rick Kunetsov and Byron Phillips with 7K I ratings into a class lower than gold. And so that then just kind of forced my hand to put certain drivers into certain classes as well. Gordon Marshall, though, the Flying Scotsman, has gone to the top now, 124.45 on that last effort there. So good pace from some of these drivers, but we're not seeing many lap times from the gold drivers just yet, as Russell Pupperall goes into P4, Golan into P4. The defending champion, Sam Muir, now of 9.5 Sim Sports, goes to the top of the timesheets. Fever into P3 as well, so quick times coming in. The field's only going to get faster. And what I think as well is, Brenton, don't expect, to those out there, don't expect necessarily a perfect split of the qualifying times. Don't expect it to be gold, then silver, then bronze. There will be some drivers who can out-qualify some golds, or some bronzes that can out-qualify some silvers. you've also then got to take into consideration, well, how well are they actually going to do in race pace conditions? They might have the one-lap pace, but they might not be able to back it up with race pace either. So, you know, it's all a balancing act to see where they end up. And, well, it'll be an interesting on the road for some, I'm sure.
Well, basing it off of their I rating is, you know, it makes perfect sense. But there could be some that have achieved their I rating through driving Formula Ford or driving supercars, so it might not be necessarily the I rating based off the Porsche. So there are going to be swings and roundabouts. It will level out as the season goes, and seeing that it's, you know, the first time that I believe it's been done in this league. So it's going to be changing, as we know, but you know, for now, let's just enjoy what we've got in front of us and let, you know, the evolution take place.
Well, in terms of one-lap pace right now, Dean Reddit is making a good case to not be a bronze class driver. Although, as I say that, he runs it wide down at turn 3, so maybe he's got as many cases to remain there or not, I'm not sure. We are missing Stacey Boyd tonight, unfortunately. He's had to do some things here this evening, so hopefully we see him back for next round, as well as we're without Simon Mazzoma this evening too, so we hope to see Simon back out on track next round as well. His teammate Sam Muir, though, is doing incredibly well. Fever P2 at this stage. Benefield back into the series. He's only ever done one race in the IRWC, Brenton. One race, and he took the win that day. So he's currently on a 100% win rate here in the IRWC. That was back in Season 1 during our wet race out at Donington Park. So I think for Daniel, he'd be hoping to get a couple more wins under his belt. But you know, I don't think guys like Ben Pedersen or Dawson or Muir will have it so easy this season, especially with guys like Gordon Marshall out there who are really going to put the sword to them and say, hey, you want to win the title this season? You've got to earn it.
And there were some that last season in particular just had a taste of being up the front and had a taste of being top 5 and maybe what they may have even thought was overachieving. So what that would have done in, you know, I think it's been 4-5 weeks between races. So, you know, some of those that, you know, like Sam Muirs and all those who rightfully, and congratulations to him, won the championship last season and rightfully wears the number 1. You know, he might have been sitting on a beach drinking pina coladas, who knows? But there could be others out there, you know, like the Shannon Fevers and all that, who I thought certainly had some glimpses of pace throughout last season. You know, that they could have, you know, the minute after the checkered flag of the last round last season, they could have been doing laps getting ready for this season already. So there could be some bolters that come through. And I expect Shannon to be one of those.
I do as well. I think what's going to be tough for him, though, is he's kind of a lone ranger at the front of the field this season. He's got to go up against, you know, guys like Pedersen, who's now in that Riot Sim Sports team. Muir, Riot Sim Racing, sorry. Muir, who's now part of 9.5 Sim Sports as well. You know, and it's going to be tough for Fever to go up against those guys. Marshall's a good friend of Pedersen's, so they may go tooth and nail to the end of a race, but during a race they may work together. We don't know.
Yep.
Right now, though, what I'm seeing is Stefan Lawrence is in. He's got good pace, and right now he's looking to remain at the claim of being the faster of the two drivers between him and Alan Dawson. But, you know, the season is long, and there's plenty of opportunity for drivers to make mistakes as well. A little bit of change as well coming into this season too. Jordan Ferguson's now stepped out of the race control position and joined the circuit as a driver for this season. So Jordan will be hoping to get some more experience in this car, as we've handed it over to just a 3-man team this season for Kyle Gretsch, Leith McClement and Lucas Bird at this current stage. Jack Anderson has also signed up, but he will miss the majority of the season due to going on international affairs throughout October. So, but we hope to see them for at least a couple of rounds for this season as well. Harry Dodd's out there representing Project 36 as well as Angus Lawford too. They're, I'm not going to say ex-teammate because he is still technically a part of the team, but he's on secondment at the moment. He's having a little break from the team. That is Kurt Chapman, who's currently running as a privateer for the rest of the year. We'll see if he ends up going back to Project 36 for 2026 or not. An interesting time to choose to do that, though, Brenton, because he's just won the IRWC Rodnock Cup last season as a part of that team, and now he's made the switch to just be a privateer for now.
Yeah, obviously there might be some, well, obviously there is reasons for that, otherwise he wouldn't have done it. Now, there's 5 minutes to go at qualifying, so I'm going to put you straight on the spot because I would be thinking that it's just a matter of time before you put me on the spot. We've got 11 races to go. There's 11 qualifying sessions to go. Who's going to win? Give us your top 3 of the championship. And don't just give me in any order. I want them in order of your top 3 in the championship. I want you to do it now, and then come the last race on the 24th, I think it is, after the 11th round. I want you to remember what names you put down in comparison with what names I put down, and let's just see how we go. And also to those out in YouTube land, I want you to tell us your top 3 in order. Not just wickety-wop, anyone. I want you to pick in order.
Ben Pedersen, Sam Muir, and Alan Dawson. They're my top 3 for this season.
Yeah, and that's a very safe top 3.
It's a very safe. Okay, all right. I'll do you one better. I'll take out Alan Dawson.
You stick with it.
I was going to say I'm happy to change Alan Dawson. I'll say Daniel Benefield instead of Alan Dawson.
Well, now you've taken mine.
Well, see, you shouldn't have said anything. But initially I didn't pick Daniel because I don't know if Daniel will be here for every single race.
Well, I was going to actually say you might have inside info whether Dan's going to be doing every round, because my top 3 was going to be Pedersen, Muir, and Benefield. And if it wasn't him, look, I reckon Stefan Lawrence is going to be up there as well.
I do think
that Lawrence is going to be up there, but
I have a feeling that Lawrence may get reclassified.
Yeah.
But because of his pre-qual and his I rating, I had to put him into that class.
Okay.
But
you're changing subject. You're changing subject. Stick with it. Stay with us.
All right.
Who is your top 3? Have you locked them in? Because I want you to write it down.
Okay, all right. You know what? I'm gonna follow my fellow countrymen of my descent and what's
that?
And what my nationalities are. Ben Pedersen, Sam Muir, Gordon Marshall. That's my top 3 for the season. I'm going to follow the Scotsman for a podium this season.
Well, not the worst picks in the world. Now, I want you to write that down, because look, if Pedersen keeps his brain intact, which I'm sure he will, with pit stops and turning his tyres off, and he's got a team behind him as well, which he hasn't had before, and I think it makes a big difference, and I think you'll find that. And I think if you were going to ask anyone on outright pace who's the fastest, you would say Pedersen. So that's my pick for the title. Sam Muir for his consistency. So we're being pretty boring there. We've gone the same top 2. Look, if I knew that Benefield was going to race every race... No, I'm going to go Alan Dawson. Look, which is your original top 3, and you changed as soon as I put some pressure on you, you folded. But I'm going to put Dawson just... Pedersen, Muir, Dawson. That's my top 3.
Okay. All right. So you see, I give you the Oracle answers and you steal them, but that's fine.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
pretty much. Well, only because I'd already written them down.
Okay. All right. Well, then I want us also then to pick the winner of the silver and the bronze class then as well.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
And my pick for silver class honours is Ellie Gardner.
Right. I like where this is going.
And my pick for bronze class honours is Jamie Fleming. That's who I think will win it for both of those classes.
No. So I'm going Stefan Lawrence to win your silver.
Yep.
I think Stefan will do the job.
Would you like the option to change if he does prove that he could go to gold class?
Well, of course. But as it stands at the moment, he's in silver. And so he's my prediction to win silver. And if he gets progresses to gold, well, he started off with silver. And I don't know enough about Jordan Ferguson at all.
If he can race every week, he could win bronze.
Yeah, right.
That's what I will say about Jordan. If he can show up every single week, that's the biggest caveat, is if he can race every week. If he can, he's capable.
Yeah.
He didn't do the best in pre-qualifying because he hasn't driven this car in a long time. So.
Look, I'm going to go out here. I'm going to say John Akers.
Yeah,
I'm going to say John Akers.
I think it's a very fair, very, very fair choice for John
Akers.
Yeah,
I'm going to say John Akers. So I want you to write, if you can write those down, and also, like I said in YouTube, we'll compare that at the end of the season. Now, but we've just look at that. We've actually got Alex Schuler who's gone in at the same time as Kurt Chapman. So they've both gone off. That looks like turn 5 together, but that's end of session. So I'll let you go through quality once these guys have all the finish line.
So as the last laps are coming in, and we can already see as well across the track the amount of debris that is getting dragged on from these cars. So I think it's going to be a massive factor tonight across the whole race, for sure. I'm just going to write down the predictions.
Yeah, well, you copy and paste those ones if you want.
That's right. I've got it on my phone. That's fine. I'm gonna lock the note as well. It cannot be open.
Yeah, and set the alarm for that Monday so you make sure you can remember to read them out.
I will. All right, we've got all those written down. As Sam Muir comes across the line to finish up his qualifying. Can he go any better? No, he cannot. So it's going to have to be P2. It's still a front row start for him. Ellie Gardner has been unable to go any better in her attempts as well. Jordan Ferguson will traverse the final corner. Can he go any further up the order? He's P25 at the moment. Only 2 cars unable to set a time in qualifying. That was Jakey Remington and Greg Levine down in the bronze class at the back end of the field. So those guys will start down the back here tonight. I don't think they copped a penalty for anything. No, they did not. So it's not an impeding thing. They just were unable to get a time. Qualifying, though, done and dusted, as we'll set ourselves up to go racing for the first time in Season 3 of the VRS Porsche Cup Series as well. If you're joining us for the first time or you've been here for a while, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, the bell icon as well, so you're notified whenever we go racing. We've got a massive season coming up for you here in the IRWC, of course, with the VRS Porsche Cup Series, as well as the IRWC Rodknock Cup, which started up on Friday night in an impeccable race out at Homestead, Miami. Actually, was it Homestead? Now I've got to remember. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Homestead. It was... now I've got to check the calendar because my brain is absolutely fried. It was such a long broadcast weekend. Echo Park, Atlanta. That was where it was on Friday. Out at Echo Park. We're heading out to Homestead this coming week for round 2. So, big IWC season coming your way for the Porsche Cups and for the Rodknock Cups as well. You get some road course racing and you get some oval racing as well with the next-gen NASCARs. As the drivers will start to get gridded up here this evening, this will be our starting grid. Ben Pedersen will start pole position alongside Sam Muir. In behind them, Alan Dawson will start alongside Stefan Lawrence, who's on the pole for the silver class here this evening. Russell Papperell will start alongside Gordon Marshall, with Shannon Fever and Dean Reddit on pole for the bronze class. Daniel Benefield, Ellie Gardner will then make up the top 10, with Rodney Golan and Logan Howard making up our top 12. Brady Stanley and John Akers will start ahead of Damien Cairns and Kurt Chapman, with Matt Howard and Jared McLeod for our top 18. Craig Schultz, Jamie Fleming will then make up the 10th row of the grid. Angus Lawford, Paul Wilson start ahead of Jake Burton and Harry Dodds back in P24 on the road tonight, with Jordan Ferguson, Alex Schuller, Tim Nicol and Barry Punter making up the top 28, with Gary Watson, Greg Levine and Jake Remington making up our 31-car grid. Our race controllers, as I mentioned, Leith McClement, Kyle Gretsch and Lucas Bird will be operating the safety car here this season. We've been away for a month in this series, but now we're back again for another 3. And what a championship it's going to be. How will it shape up for these drivers at the front of the field? There's obviously been some all-timers who've been here every single season, the likes of Ben Pedersen, Simon Mazzomo, Ellie Gardner, just to name a few, that have been here ever since the beginning. Only one of them has claimed a championship. That was Mazzomo back in Season 1. Pedersen will be hoping for his maiden championship this season. Gardner would love to win her maiden title too. But you don't think Pedersen's going to win?
He's just had a disconnect.
Oh, no.
He's just had a disconnect. So he's got, it's an extended grid. It's a 3-minute grid. He's got 1 minute.
Well,
which
Pedersen might have to.
Again.
He might have to start from pit lane if he can't make the grid. This could be.
He might make it. Jeez, it's going to be close.
Oh, it's going to be close. It is going to be close. Yep. The lucky thing for Pedersen is there's 2 drop rounds this season, not just 1. So he can afford to have 2 poor rounds. But my God, this is not the omen you'd want at the start of the season, to have connection issues in the very first race before the championship is even started. He's in there. Muir's on grid. Will we see Pedersen grid up as well? Remington has not made the grid at the back of the field. He might start from pit lane. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Pedersen's on the grid.
There. 14 seconds to go.
Oh,
Well, we actually saw him disconnect in the practice server. We've seen him disconnect this, so be nervous. I'll let you call the start.
He's got a storm in his area, but he wants to storm his way to a championship win this season. Start lights will go up to begin Season 3 of the VRS Porsche Cup Series. WeatherTech Laguna Seca gets us underway. 60 minutes on the clock, and it's a hot start for Pedersen off the start line. Muir's gone with him, but Dawson's already putting the pressure on him as well as he running towards turn 1. Pedersen's done well off the start. Muir still up in P2. Marshall looking to make gains early. You see Lawrence and Papel and Fever all in there as well. Doesn't look like anyone's made a mistake into turn 2, Brenton. They're looking pretty neat and tidy as they run up towards turn 4.
Tidy start throughout, including at the rear. So just a lot going on in the back. There was a car that was slow off the line, so a couple of cars had to go off circuit to go around, but a very clean start with Ben Pedersen, Muir and Dawson at the lead. Oh, we do have an issue with Tim Nicol at the back.
Oh no. Tim Nicol has copped an issue. So has Angus Lawford, who's gone straight off the road. We saw in the chat earlier teething issues for Lawford. New rig, new direct drive wheel as well. So he's having to go through the learning processes. It's Lawrence up at turn 6. So the challenge was thrown to... Oh my God! Oh no! Jamie Fleming. That's a real drama.
Shannon, so Shannon's also had a drama at the corkscrew. There's a bit of a mess going on there. So we were talking about it being a clean start. There's been carnage at the corkscrew, and look, that's not how we do business there. That's way too deep. Who's that? Can't see the card number. Is it 795? Is it?
We're about to have a look at it here.
Fleming?
So I think it was Fleming that kind of crossed the road. So this was Tim Nicol's incident. I believe that might have been with Lawford further back in the field. So Nicol just traverses off track, and it's then unsettled Lawford a little bit. Actually, no, it wasn't even Lawford actually that was involved. I think it might have been Dodsey. And Lawford's then had the incident further up and gone off the track. And then whilst that was happening as well, Stefan Lawrence has felt the sympathy for the Project 36 car as he's just been knocked off track. Actually, actually, that was horrid.
That's all good.
I think it might have been Greg. That's still ordinary. Come on, here we go.
Just have a look at this.
Oh, it's Gordon Marshall. It was Gordon Marshall alongside him. And then we'll watch him up the hill because we need to watch Jamie Fleming as he goes up towards the corkscrew.
Fleming's the one to look for here. Oh, hang on, just dropped out a little bit there.
He's having ping issues for sure. Big blinks. Misses his braking zone completely and then collects Craig Schultz.
Missed it by a long way. That's not even close. And look, that was such a bad job going into the corkscrew. I'm actually going to hopefully think it was a hardware problem because that was insanely bad. You know, that was not even close to being a realistic attempt there.
No. Also a horrid start thus far in this race for Shannon Fever, who now finds himself back in P30 on the road as well. It was off the back of the incident at the corkscrew. Well, he's then had another incident down, it seems, towards the final corner. So he wanted to move on the inside of Tim Nicol coming up on Gary Watson, and he's just gone a bit too deep. And then round he goes. So that's why Fever's ended up at the back of the field. So a struggle start for some drivers. For Ben Pedersen, though, it is dominance as usual. 1.2 seconds is now the gap over Sam Muir. But can the internet hold up? Can the connection hold up? Can the storm go away from his area?
Oh, even that's optimistic. Yeah, there's too many mistakes. I know it's a bit green, and I know it's that some of these might not have driven for a while, but there's acts of desperation in an 11-race series. There's acts of desperation on lap 1. Like, come on. Like, we're better than that. We expect better than that. They need to calm down and get some points. Get yourself alive in the championship. You can't win the championship race 1, but you can certainly lose the championship round 1. And yes, I do know there's 2 drop rounds. I understand that, but why would you want to throw the opportunity away early to have a top 10 finish, get some points, or find yourself back door and thinking, I'm going to drop a race already?
Oh, Ellie Gardner's just gone off the road, and it's down at the final corner.
Untidy.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Ellie. She's been working on her pace. Had a reasonably good pre-qualifying lap, actually, but just needs to try and tighten the screws on the racecraft a little bit. And that there is the difference maker between a gold class driver and a silver class driver. The silver class driver might have the pace of a gold class driver, but they've just got to get the racecraft and the consistency up that little bit more. That's the difference between what you might classify as a pro and a pro-am across the field. So she's now back in P12, just behind Jared McLeod at the moment.
Yeah, just carrying too much speed into the last corner, and yeah, did a pretty good job actually keeping the thing alive. He who runs away gets to fight another day, and that's what's happened here with Ellie. Got off circuit, got out the way, but is certainly still going to be in there. And we look at our early predictions. I've got my man John Akers is up to 13th position. Jake Burton has gone up 8 positions, but Matt Howard is our biggest gainer so far in the car 4. Has gone up from P17 on the grid up to P8 already. So up 9 positions, which is a great start.
Yeah, Matt had a very reasonable pre-qualifying, and I was confident that he could hang it with the gold class drivers, and he looks to do that now. Barry Punter has gone off, it seems.
Oh, Punter as well.
Down at turn 9. So
I think he had some help.
The man who has probably the best name in the whole field, unfortunately, has not had the best start to this race. Oh!
What's happened back there?
So Fleming's still having his blinking issues, and now Fever and Papril getting at it as well. Yeah, that was Fleming. He's still got the connection issues. Now he's got to be careful, because the more
No, it's Chapman. No, Kurt Chapman.
Oh.
No, I'm looking at Kurt Chapman around the last corner, and certainly had some. That was an unusual one. Like, came out wide, but did not do a great job at recovering it. And just, what have you got? Nah. So Chapman's now going to be carrying a little bit of damage there, because that was quite a hard hit into the on the exit of the last corner. Up at the front though, and we're covering here is. Ben Peterson, or what do you got there? So sorry, got 3 screens going at once at the moment, Hamish. I do apologise.
We've got Sam Muir at the moment in P2.
Sam Muir. Yeah, so Sam, our defending champion, rightfully carrying the #1 placard on the car. Did a great job last year.
We made the decision that champions must run #1. We're forcing it now. We made it.
Yeah, it's not an unfair call. Although, we got a problem back here as well.
Oh, Jake Burton and Alex Schuler have just gone into something.
Schuler. Yeah, so Schuler's been involved with some dramas as well. There's a lot going on midfield and then lower down.
Oh, so Schuler gave about a suburb's worth of room to Chapman, and he's kind of just cooked himself down at the corkscrew. Backing upon it in the chat, in all my races here, that was the cleanest lap one. Oh, it's pretty reasonable. Oh, but Barry Punter and Gary Watson just had an incident too. This was Jake Burton running wide down at turn 6. So more and more. Actually, no, it's turn 9.
Oh, see the curb there. Do you see how hard they hit the curb? In the car, you're not going to get any. You're not going to get a true reflection of handling when you bounce off curbs. Have a look at this.
That was a big send from Punter. Nowhere near close enough.
Yeah, so Punter's living up to his name there. There's going to be a penalty coming that way, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you've got that name, you've kind of got to expect that comment at some point.
Yeah, it's going to come all year. So we'll apologise now for overusing it, but we're going to overuse it. Hey, hang on, and at the same time, Punter was one of the greatest Australian cricketers. I know it's
true.
Ponting's nickname, so it's not the worst nickname to have in the world. But in this case, Baz, get used to hearing it. Well, I hope people don't get used to hearing it, because hopefully he's not involved in too many incidents.
Hopefully not. Currently, in terms of class proceedings at this stage, of course, Pedersen leads to Muir and Dawson on the podium. Golan, McLeod and Lawrence are the top 3 for the silver class. Reddit, Akers and Chapman are the top 3 for the bronze class at this stage, as they're all separated in between each other. We're on board with Daniel Benefield as he battles away here with Gordon Marshall. It's good to see Benefield back in the field. He's got long ties to at least the Discord server that this series has run out of. It's formerly the Simsa Discord server. He was one of our race controllers for that series many, many moons ago. And, of course, took part in Season 1 for the one race that he did, and he won it back at Donington Park. So it's good to have Daniel back in the field, and hoping to see him do well this season. Hopefully going to see him race nearly every single week as well. Yeah, he's a nice dude, and he's got some very good pace about him as well. So interesting to see how he does this season.
Yeah, and it is good to have. And he's someone that has a lot of experience, certainly in IndyCars. I remember back in the day, a few years ago now, almost, we'd be talking 10 years ago now, but Dan was very, very good and very competitive in IndyCar, especially on the ovals. It was his number one thing. So it's great that he's, moving into other classes and does a really good job in these Porsches, as we were talking about before, and has had a win. So, let's just see how he goes. He's up 4 positions. So started P9, already up 4 positions. Our biggest drop was Stefan Lawrence. So, Shannon Fever down 18 positions after that one drama.
Sorry to interrupt. Daniel, just a big lock up there. He went a little bit too deep.
Careful. Is he going into the pits now?
No, but he did cross the exit, so he might actually get an iRacing black flag for that.
Exactly. That could be a drama there.
He saved it. On. No, it's not on. Yeah. He saved making contact with Gordon there, but he will likely get an iRacing black flag for crossing the pit exit. He may not. He might get away with it.
No, I don't know. Because it's the exit, not the entry. So, don't know. Well, we can find out, I guess. We can just click on his name, see if there's a little black flag next to his name. But you should be able to do that. But I don't think there'll be too much issue apart from significant loss of time.
Yeah, he doesn't have the black flag, so he's not been given the drive-through, which, I mean, fair play. He pulled it up. He didn't turn around Gordon there, so I think, the time lost is enough to be self-penalising anyway. This battle's starting to heat up back here, though. Ellie Gardner's starting to chase down Dean Reddit. They've got John Akers in behind them as well. It's ironic last season we thought, Ellie has caught she's caught the debris down there, and I was going to mention it before, Brenton. It was looking like a child's sandpit a little bit with all that sand thrown out onto the road, but unfortunately for Ellie, she's just lost it down there.
Yeah, we talked about that actually in qualifying, that the track is an absolute dog's breakfast. It is like a sandpit out there, and another victim of that. And Laguna Seca is famous for it. I'd hate to work there because you'd be spending this is not how we need to be doing business here. Oh, here comes John Akers. Oh, my God. He's going to get the stick. You know what? Top-level move from John Akers there. Yep. He went for it. And fair play to Jake Burton. Left him plenty of room to make the move down the inside. Great racing between them, even though they did get a bit door-to-door down towards turn 1. Could have ended a lot worse than it did. Fair play. Good job, boys. That was a good move. It was a good move, but like you've already said, give credit where credit's due to Jake Burton. Probably open the steering a little bit, I would think, just to make sure that there was no impact there that's going to not just cause damage on this lap, but also for the rest of the race. Interested in Craig Schultz as well, who's behind these two, is slowly making his way up. Last lap of a 25.4, so the race pace wasn't great last lap. In front of them straight away.
John, that's going to be a slowdown for sure. He crossed the corkscrew. Although he hasn't got the yellow flag next to his name. Harry Dodds, by the way, has been given a black flag, believed by race control. Oh no, it might just be a black flag for himself, actually. I'm not sure why. He did have that incident earlier on, as off goes Jake Burton. Yeah, he had that incident earlier on with Tim Nichols, so it could be from the case of that possibly as well. But,
it could be. Nice and early.
Yeah, nice and early. So,
but it looks like at the moment none of these three, in particular Akers and Burton, want to lead this group, because every time one of them gets into the lead of this group, they send a trip over. So we've got Akers back in front of Burton with Craig Schultz and a Damien Cairns. Now, Cairns last season did show some pace in patches. Cairns does a fairly decent job in the V8 Vets series. Doesn't make that many mistakes in that series. However, his season last season, there was too many mistakes. Too many mistakes for a guy of his experience. So hopefully he's going to be moving that out of his repertoire and just bring in some consistency. Let everybody else make the mistakes. If you're not that quick a driver, you can't afford to make mistakes. You can't afford to lose any time at all. So keep an eye out for Damien Cairns. Hopefully he's tightened things down with the Porsche in regards to his driving errors, and let's see if he can find his way out. And that's the same with Craig Schultz. I only spoke about him last time. Again, his last lap, 26.8, is the these three are way off pace. You know, the leads. Ben Pedersen did a 23.9 last lap, and we're talking 26s and 27s here. Made mistakes and all that, but they're just hemorrhaging time. And already after just 10 laps, these guys are 30 seconds off of the lead. That's an insane amount of time in just 10 laps.
It is, but that can be the difference between drivers who are, race the Porsche Cup very, very regularly. Oh, to apologise for the big outburst there of the graphics, but we're still going. That can be the difference between drivers who are racing multiple different cars, and the Porsche Cup's one of them, and then guys who only race the Porsche Cup car as well. So that can be the difference maker. Damien Cairns could be a smoky this season for that silver championship, Brenton, I think. If he can, as I said, if he can tighten the screws and get the consistency up, I see no reason as to why he can't challenge for that mid-class title.
No, I agree, and this is exactly what I'm saying. Like in V8 Vets, he does a pretty good job. But like I was saying, he made too many mistakes last season. He'll probably say the same thing himself. So let's see if he can shake those away. Oh, he looked like he was going straight ahead there.
Oh, that was Schultz.
He certainly was.
Sorry, yes. I was clicking away to check on another incident that happened, so we'll get a little...
see him. Yeah, I just saw him as we were changing over. Hang on, he's carrying a bit too much speed there, and yeah, like these guys here are struggling, aren't they? Like the four of them. And Matt Howard's actually joined in with them as well, has he? No, he's just in that pack as well. So
this was the incident. Yeah, so Matt Howard had one up at the corkscrew. That's lost him some time. Golan, I believe, went with him as well. Actually, Golan sent it in on him way too hard. That's contact made.
Yeah, that's...
And then if we focus up on Schultz as they come down there as well, he does the same thing. But on his own.
Look, so Schultz, you can see what Schultz has done there. He's just gone in too deep, recognised it straight away and bailed out of it. He didn't try and turn into the corner, would have sent himself into a spin. So he's just accepted that he's broke too deep and just gone straight ahead, just more as a preservation thing. But, these positions here from 13, 14, 15, 16, 17... top 20? No, actually 21. So from 13th to 21st, even including 22nd, it's been a mess. And we're going to continue. Is this Ferguson here?
Yeah, it's Ferguson down at turn 2.
Yeah,
so that's kind of an example of one of those moments that we spoke about.
Down there. So I went from 13th to 21st. To 22nd to Mickle, but now, as I was saying, the 23rd Ferguson's also involved. So there's a lot of mess there. So from 13th to 22nd, there's a lot of mess. So the guys up the front are just doing what they need to do, just punching out consistent laps. Pedersen with a 23.7 is drawing away quite easily, you would think, with Sam Muir at the moment. Muir's last time a 23.9. Then we're getting into the 24s, 24.0, 24.2, 24.1 for Benefield. But then the times fall away quite quickly. Even Stefan Lawrence at 24.6, which is good. But then after that, there's nobody in the 24s. Damien Cairns, 24.8. But apart from that, there's 25s, 26s, and even a couple of 27s. So the times are stretched out. But we were talking about Damien Cairns before. Like his last lap was a 24.8. Still over a second off the lead. And who's that? Shannon?
That's Shannon Fever. So early stop for Shannon. It's coming just before the 20-minute mark now. Should be a 2-stopper here tonight to get home. So may have come in a little bit early, but might be able to go a little bit further than 20 minutes to get the car to the next pit stop anyway. So it could be a strategic choice. Barry Punter's gone off down at turn 2 in a far run into the sand trap, and that's going to make turn 2 a lot more dangerous now as he drags more gravel down there. You see, he just didn't get the car slowed up and turned in. Plenty of runoff though. Didn't hit the wall.
Gone a long way off. Yeah. That's not just a little way off. That's like set the GPS and try and find turn 2, because that's a long way off. Shannon's stationary for 13 seconds. That's in difference to Angus Lawford, who pitted 5.5 laps ago, and Russell Pepperell. So Angus stationary for 9 and Pepperell for just about 8 seconds. We've got Craig Schultz in the pit too. Probably this is going to be as a reaction to Shannon Beavers. You'll be able to tell me, taking tyres at this time, is it the fuel? How long does it take for the tyres? About 8.5 seconds?
I believe so, yeah. I believe it's the same as the supercar, nearly. So he's in there. 13-second stop. So I would say the reason that both him and Shannon have taken 13-second stops is they've used more fuel out of that limited tank. You got to remember we've only got a 35% tank capacity
Yeah.
in the car to force pit stops, so those guys didn't have as much fuel on board. Here comes Pepperell past Schultz here, but Schultz will actually exit pit lane right by him.
Whoa!
As it cuts out turn 2. Jared
Somebody
McLeod
else
is at a
going on.
wild off track.
Yeah.
That's up at the
Yeah,
exit of turn 6.
I was just looking at it. I reckon he's just done that by himself. And I was talking before about turn 5 and 6, how important they are, and I think you'll see then that that's exactly how that's transpired there on the exit of 6. We'll just have a look here. Just looked like that's a very nice view of the hill. Has he done it by himself? Yeah, there's that
hop
curve
the
there.
curb.
Yeah, so that's the curve there. The car becomes so unbalanced there, and he's off into the boondocks there. And I think I saw, was that Lawford I saw off as well?
Dodsy's just gone off. Yeah, that's Dodsy that's just gone off. So it's the
Was
same
it?
corner
Yeah.
at turn
Yep,
6.
and-
Watch for the curb. Oh no, you didn't even
Oh,
hit the curb. You
very
nearly
close.
rolled it.
Yeah,
My
so-
God.
Just packs it nicely into that tyre, that earthwall tyre bundle there. Just carried too much speed, missed the apex by probably half a car width, so he wasn't even close to that. It's a mess. Now, also, whilst that's been going on, we'll see that Daniel Benefield has got a 20-second penalty. 20-second penalty for Daniel Benefield. So you would think, unless there's a safety car, that's going to end his night. And also Dodds has got a 15-second penalty from a lap 4 incident with the 440, the Barry Punter vehicle. So there's some chunky penalties in there, like the Benefield penalty at 20 seconds. That's
Well,
that's very chunky.
that would have been from lap 1 up at the corkscrew.
Yeah.
So
With Shannon Fever.
yeah, so
Yep.
they probably determined, well, how much time has Shannon lost? Well, Shannon's obviously been in pit lane now as well. They would have determined how much time did Shannon lose, and the fact that it's lap 1 means that they were probably a little bit more harsh on the penalty, as Brady Stanley has gone off the road.
Wow.
And that's down at the final corner. That is far off for Brady as he comes back on circuit. But the more incidents that we incur, Brenton, the worse this will get for the drivers on the road tonight, because the less grip there's going to be out there. Ellie Gardner's in pit lane as well. Punter and Levine exiting pit lane further back in the field. Drivers are going to have to be careful here for these off tracks too, because there's been a lot of drivers that have, traversed off track, even just by a little bit or by a lot. They'll stack up eventually across an hour. We may see some iRacing Black Flag drive-throughs due to incident limits tonight.
Yeah, look, we absolutely might. And it's not just incident limits from going off track, but there's going to be quite a few 4Xs from car contacts as well. Look, the standard's been poor. We can't say anything else. Like midfield and beyond has been poor. Up the front there, like the top guys have been, certainly the top 4 seem like they've been very good. See, Dan just got himself a 20-second penalty, so we can't put him in that conversation. But yeah, it's been a bit messy, hasn't it? But we've got someone else off there at the corkscrew as well. Who was that?
That's Barry Punter of Riot Sim Racing.
Yeah. Was he
we might have
to.
We've got that many Riot cars in the field there. We might have to request that they put them in duos and do little, duo liveries for us, so we can differentiate at least.
Yeah, they need to change the orange on or the red on a few of these cars and splash some blue and green or whatever, so we can differentiate a little bit.
I think he was letting the fast drivers past him. He was just letting them go. So,
a
lap down.
Yeah, I think because he's a lap down. Yeah, I think that's exactly what he did. Clumsy way of doing it, not gonna lie. But at least he did do it. There's others who many a time haven't made that move. So luck to Barry for that. Kurt Chapman also in the pits now. I think there's been just dramas, hasn't there? And I don't think it's a true reflection of the midfield pace. Shannon Fever's got now. Shannon does have a problem.
Yeah.
There's look at the amount of ground. That's slow here.
Yeah, I think he didn't want to get in anyone's way as he was approaching the apex. He had Muir coming up on him. He's going to go back in pit lane. Pedersen's in as well. Just a note, so the race leader's in, so this will be a change for the lead now as Muir comes past. The one fact we probably need to think about actually is drivers may not take tyres on this first stop. They don't normally take tyres when they pit, but with the amount of sliding we're seeing here as Brady Stanley's off again, we may actually see a tyre change come in that second stop. Now, I don't think they would take all tyres. They might only take rear tyres just because of how much rear end grip they're losing out here, and If we have a quick look actually at the weather of today's track, it's actually not even that warm. It's only 23 degrees. So
no,
it's
there's
prime
nothing
conditions.
to blame there.
No.
Yeah.
So prime
there's nothing to
conditions
blame there.
for them.
And Shannon's actually out of the race, so it's a shame. Has disconnected. Whether there was a hardware problem or whether there was a brainware problem, not sure. But Shannon's opening to the series has not gone to plan. We did notice last season that Sam Mule was able to hang on to the car a lot longer with tyres and with fuel, and that seems to be the case here. Pedersen has already stopped. Quite a long stop too for Sam, the longest of all at 17 seconds. Taken on a lot of fuel, and
Well, that probably comes down to he had more tank capacity than the other drivers as Mules.
Yeah, but what we need to look at here, let's see how quick Sam's going to play this card. Now, I know Sam that listens to these broadcasts afterwards. Sam, take less fuel. Take a lot less fuel, come out in front of Ben and sprint like all hell and see if you can gain some time. Hopefully that's what's going to happen here. And he's not just going to fall in line and play defensive, because there's a chance here.
He'll know that without a safety car, he can't make it home on this one stop. But if he can make it to 40 minutes, he can make it home with a pit stop. So at most, he probably needs about 10 minutes worth of fuel on this stop here. So he only needs a splash.
Well, I would be taking less fuel here. He hasn't. He's actually taken more. So he's at another half a second. So to me, that's a little bit... Yeah, look, don't rely on a safety car happening. I think there's a little bit of white flag being shown there. I think there was a great opportunity to attack Ben and make Ben the one to be chasing. But, at the same time, it's race number one.
Yep.
This guy's a defending champion for a reason. He made more good decisions last season than bad. Let's just let him clock up some points, and that's what he's doing now. But he's now over 5 seconds off the lead. That's quite a big distance between these two. Who we got coming into the pits?
So
there
Jake Burton right now just needs to come into pit lane, but he's also got a black flag as well, Brenton. So he's going to have to come in, take his pit stop. If it's a drive-through black flag, he's going to have to come out, traverse back around, and take it again. Yep. Or if it's a stop hold, he's going to be stuck there for 40 seconds. So this pretty much will bury Jake in the field no matter what. Paul Wilson's exiting pit road now. Jared McLeod's coming out. Dodsey's in, so is Watson as well.
Well, Burton hasn't done a pit stop yet.
No, he
hasn't. There's not going to be any speeding in pit lane black flag happening because he hasn't been in the pit. So,
well, there's nothing from race control, so it must be he either
incident.
Yeah, he either has gone over the incident limit or he hasn't served a slowdown. If he's gone over the incident limit, it's a drive-through. If he hasn't served a slowdown, it's a drive-through. So he's always going to have to drive through pit lane. So
but he won't have enough fuel.
He won't have enough fuel. He'll have to stop, come out, and then go back in again and do the drive-through.
And we see the same with Schultz as well. Schultz has got a black flag as well.
Yeah.
So you would have to be thinking. You'd have to be thinking that it's got to be incident limit.
Because Schultz has had 11 off tracks. That's only 6 incident points away from the drive-through. So he could have gotten that from car contact and stuff like that. Oh no, that there is a car as he comes into pit lane who looks to be out of fuel, and that's Greg Levine nearly.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'd like to know, what was it Pedersen was saying then? Like, Pedersen sounded like he was actually apologising to someone just over the radio just then. Now, if he's apologising to someone, I might be wrong here. It was pretty distorted chat. It did sound like he was saying sorry to someone. Now, if you're saying sorry to someone, you're saying it for a reason. I'd like to know what that reason was, whether all of a sudden he might have pushed someone out wide when he was lapping him, not so sure. But it did sound like he was apologising for something. So maybe, I haven't seen anything being reported. I might be hallucinate this whole thing, but it did sound like he was saying sorry for something.
Well, let's see here. So we'll click back on him. He was coming past Dodsey. Oh, there's nothing too bad there.
No, nothing there. Nothing there. No, nothing there. So,
no, then.
Unless something happened before then, but there certainly was nothing there that should be being under scrutiny.
So Jake Burton.
Pedersen's pace has been very good, throughout.
I mean, he has locked in now this season. I mean, comes in with a team. Probably put a lot of practice in across the off season as well. I think he knows that he's thrown away some opportunities in the last 2 seasons. This season is his to win it. you know, with no Job Stewart and no Corey Lazarus in the field, this is Ben Pedersen's best time he could ever hope to win the championship. So for him, he's going to be committed for the next, 11 weeks, or the next 10 weeks, the next 11 rounds, to try and go all in on it. As we get up towards the halfway point of this race, it is Ben Pedersen that leads the way to Sam Muir and Alan Dawson. For our class standings at the moment, Lawrence is leading to Golan and Lawford. And for bronze, it is Reddit to Chapman to Akers at the moment as well for the 3 classes here tonight. Ben Pedersen leads. We'll be back very shortly. We're going to hear a quick short message from our series sponsor, VRS. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon with more action from round 1 of season 3 of the Porsche Cup Series.
These are the VRS Dark Force Pro pedals. So it's a high-end product, stainless steel construction with an industrial aesthetic. Very, very adjustable. All 3 pedals, the pedal faces in terms of height, depth, angle are fully adjustable, and overall pedal angle is also adjustable. Now, if we look at the throttle pedal first, we have quite a unique design here. So we have a rodless spring, which doesn't quite look right to the eye, but functionally performs extremely well. Absolutely no friction whatsoever, so really nice smooth response. And we have a lot of adjustability here in terms of initial starting force, preload, and also overall force and pedal travel. So if we move on to the brake, we have similar levels of adjustability, a very high-end, heavy-duty construction. We have the blue spring on here at the moment, which tolerates a 65 kilogram maximum force. Also supplied is the optional red spring, which doubles that to 130 kilograms. These are linear springs, which is not normally how a real-life brake pedal feels. So we have this very clever mechanism on the back here, which basically turns that into a progressive, more realistic feeling, which gives you quite a decent bit of travel for low-level trail braking, and then more of a ramp up when you're really braking much harder. And we have this tie rod at the top, which is fully adjustable, along with preload, so you can really fine-tune that exact force shape to your preference. On the clutch, we have a similar level of adjustability in terms of pedal face and also the shape of the curve. So we try to emulate a clutch plate, which is stiff initially and then flattens out as the clutch gives way. So that's emulated here with a small amount of adjustability, including overall travel as well. So we're very happy with this product, and we hope you are too.
Welcome back to the VRS Porsche Cup Series here, brought to you by iRacing World Challenge, live on Infinity Broadcast this evening. We're live across both YouTube and Twitch as well. If you're watching along with us for the first time, or you've just joined us tonight, you haven't done so already. If you're watching on Twitch, hit that follow button. If you're watching on YouTube, click the subscribe, the like button, the bell icon as well, so you're notified whenever we go racing. At the moment, Ben Pedersen leads the way. Stefan Lawrence leads the silver class, and for the bronze class honours at the moment, it is Dean Reddit that leads it for Riot Sim Racing at this stage. Riot Sim Racing, ironically, dominating every single class, but Ben Pedersen is having big blinking issues at the front of the field right now, Brenton. Could this be the clock striking midnight on his first race win of the season?
Yeah. Well, there's a storm. I don't know where Ben lives. I'm thinking he might be in New South Wales. I know there's storms going through there in Queensland at the moment, so all it takes is a bolt of lightning, doesn't it? There's plenty of those out there.
Yeah, we've already seen him disconnect from the server twice across the practice qualifying and the right before the race start as well. He barely made it to the grid.
Yeah. And he only made the grid, like I said, with, what, 13, 14 seconds to go.
Yeah, it was barely anything.
Would have been pretty flustered. Would have been, madly abusing Telstra and et cetera, but hopefully it settles down for him, because he's driven very well. Now, we've still got 26 minutes to go, so there's a lot of hanging in there to go, but at the moment, the cars are like driving on kitty. There's actually a decent battle happening here with, maybe there's not.
Marshall, big lock up!
Wow.
And that there is incident points for Gordon Marshall. He's now going to have to drive through pit lane.
Yeah, so there's a whole world of mistakes going on there, and now, a good driver, and I'm not saying Gordon's not a good driver. Oh, that's going on. Is that an engine? It's a lot of dust coming out there. Surely he would have known that Benefield has a 20-second penalty. So why would you get involved? Oh, he's deep here too. Why would you get involved with someone like that who's got a 20-second penalty? Hey, no worries, off you go. See you later. You know, you're going to be finishing 20 seconds behind me, but there's a whole world of unnecessary in that, and that's never going to stick that. And now it's just gone from bad to worse because not only does he have the off with a car that he didn't need to be driving against, but now he has a drive-through penalty. So, yeah, that's an uncomfortable conversation that he'll have to be having later on with either himself or if there's someone in his team spot him, because if he does have a spotter or someone that's helping out, yeah, he should have absolutely known that.
Well, I know that Gordon races out of the UK, so he's gotten up this morning to go racing with us. That's not the way he would have wanted to start his championship.
Which is fantastic that he does that.
It's fantastic that he does that. We
like
love
the commitment
that he does that.
Yeah, so the commitment that he's shown is, it's, and I love the livery. It's actually quite clever, the Scottish flag. But yeah, it's a shame that he hadn't had the heads up to what everyone knows. So when race control put out a penalty, everyone should see it if you've got the right settings, and it's not hard to turn on the chat settings. Everyone would be able to know that there's a penalty, and I think they call it out over the
they call it out over the radio as well.
Yeah, so where you're reading it, but you can also hear it anyway. So he should have known that Benefield has a 20-second penalty. Now, if you do give Benefield this 20-second penalty, at the moment he's P4. A 20-second penalty is not going to hurt him that much.
He'll drop him to Logan Howard, who is in P6. So he's doing the work right now to build that gap up to try and remain in the top 5.
Yeah, but not just that, but whether he comes out in front of Howard or even just behind, oh yeah, that's a bit messy there. Is that Angus Lawford again?
So we mentioned that he's struggling with his new rig. It'll be a season of development for him, I'm sure. The former SRW Sandown 500 winner, of course. ASR Bathurst 1000 was across the weekend. Of course, that was won out by James Scott and Trent Allen. Of course, Angus has the wonderful stat of winning the Sandown 500 SRW with James Scott as a ring-in for Project 36. So James has done a lot of work as a ring-in for teams like RER and now Project 36 as well. He's come in and he's gotten them an endurance race win. We'll see if he can do the same thing over in the Pro Series out at Bathurst for the 1000 in November.
So James Scott, former ERT driver, former Altus driver, former Lob driver.
Yeah, former Lobs, now racing for the Chiefs at the moment.
Yeah, current for the Chiefs, not sure how much longer. It's been in a few teams. Trent Allen he's a steerer that I actually rate very highly. I think he does a great job.
I think he does
Shows
too.
some very good pace. Yeah, I think he's very underrated. Another V8 Vets driver, but I think he's underrated. And there's another car gone off. Who's that? It's it's just hard to distinguish who the right cars are.
A couple. So Dawson's been off. Where is Alan? Matt Howard's battling away here as well.
I think it was Dawson again.
Schuller. I think it was Dawson again. So he's up in P3 at the moment. There's been a couple more black flags handed out. Greg Levine's had one as well. Reddit, I think, has had one too.
Has he had one, or he just had it off as well?
No, he's had it off. Rodney Golan's got one though. So this is a big factor for the silver class. This will now promote Ellie Gardner up to P2 in the silver class here this evening. Although, as I say that, Ellie's just been passed by Damien Cairns. But still, she's on the podium right now when Rodney comes through pit lane.
Ellie's had some issues, so it could be a matter of who gets to do their drive through the fastest, because we know we've seen some offs from Ellie, so you would think that there's some incident points clocking up there as well. So Pedersen from Muir, from Dawson, from Benefield, you can disregard the Benefield thing. Stefan Lawrence has done a very, very good recovery. So up into P5 will be P4 adjusted. And considering was involved in a very early incident which put him way down the back of the pack, I think it's been an excellent comeback, albeit over half a minute off the lead. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was Kurt Chapman going off down at the corkscrew. It's a shame for him. Rodney Gollan's come in for his drive-through now, so we'll see Rodney traverse through pit lane. We've got roughly 20 minutes left to go on this race. Drivers can pit from this point to get home. They would have enough tank capacity to put the fuel in the car and get it to the checkered flag. And roughly, it should only be around about a 10 minutes, for some drivers, only a 10-minute splash. So not too much fuel will be needed to get home from here, but we might see some drivers try and roll the dice, maybe come in early, try and get an undercut happening. Other drivers may just try and go as long as possible in the hopes that there could be an incident or something that could bring the safety car out and they get a free pit stop at the end of this race for that small little splash and dash. That would then also allow them the breathing room, Brenton, to underfuel the car slightly, because normally under a safety car you can save roughly about a lap's worth of fuel if the safety car's out there for about 3 or 4 laps. So that could change some strategies up as well if that happens. But we've been green the whole way for all 40 minutes, but it has been messy out there, and unfortunately for the drivers, but also the amount of gravel that's on track. It's a very tough track to tame, even for the best of drivers. So it's been a tough night on the road for them, but this is going to be a tough season for them too. I mean, Homestead next week. We've got Road America coming up. Montreal as well. I mean, Chicago, the 3rd round. We've not made it easy for them early in the season. We are going to separate the contenders from the pretenders very early on, and it's going to take some tenacity to do well across all 11 rounds across the 10 weeks that we're going racing.
Yeah, well, once the concrete walls get closer, I think you'll certainly see some significant changes in the championship standings, because from what we've seen tonight early, and it is only race 1, so these guys are only going to get better as the season goes on. They'll adapt and they'll adjust to the cars, and they'll know who they're racing against. It's another thing, not just with the cars, but if you race against the same guys week in, week out, you get to know their strengths, their weaknesses, whether they're aggressive, whether they're quite passive. You get to trust some of the drivers around you, and there's other drivers you just don't want to trust at all. So they will adjust and adapt, there's no doubt. But as the season goes on and the walls get closer, these are the races now that you will want to put in the bank just in case it all goes south for those street circuits. So
change of position just quickly here for P3 for Daniel Benefield past Alan Dawson, but it will be corrected post-race to have Dawson in P3. Yeah. And I'm going to assume that Dawson knows that Benefield has a 20-second penalty. He did not make it hard for him at all, especially at this point of the race. And you might be watching that if you've just joined us and thinking, that's a bit weird. He hasn't really defended that too hard within the 18 minutes to go. Dawson knows that Benefield's got 20 seconds to give up, so he's more than willing to give him P3 for the race, because he'll get it back again on the timesheets when the provisional results are in. So it's it's a freebie for Benefield right now, but it's an ego booster.
So if we look at it, Dawson 16 seconds off the lead and 17 seconds in front of Stefan Lawrence. So he's in for a pretty quiet last few laps. So he'll be hoping Benefield stays out there just to give him something to look at. Otherwise, he's just going to be doing probably 15 minutes of just solo lapping. Quite a few cars have come in for their second stop, or in Kurt Chapman's case, a third stop. I think he must have done a drive-through. The first of our 2 stoppers, Gordon Marshall, P7 at the moment, 45 seconds off the lead, is still in pit lane now. I've got him in pit lane. So I've got something unusual for Gordon. You might be able to help me out here. I've got him being in pit lane for 21 seconds, but I haven't got him as actually being stationary for any time. So maybe his last one... Oh, no, the last one would have been for the drive-through. That's what that would have been. So, yeah, it wouldn't have been stationary at all. So that's why he's listed as 2 stops, even though he hasn't. Just answer my own question before you got a chance to.
I've done that quite often to myself, to be fair, Brenton. I've talked myself through it, and it's like, oh, well, there's the answer. So, But, well, at this point of the race, I mean, we've got roughly 16 minutes to go. There's still one more pit stop to come for the majority of the field here tonight to get to the checkered flag. Daniel Benefield sits P3 at the moment, but he'll be corrected back to P5 after the penalties are handed out post-race. Rodney Gollan is battling away here with Alex Schuler. This is for P13 on the road. And I mean, outside of the small messy incidents, which it's round 1, we've been away for a month or so. People are going to be a little bit rusty. I'm sure it'll tighten up a little bit across the season as Dawson comes into pit lane for his pit stop. what I think we have seen, though, is there's actually been some really good racing out here. And I think there's been some
Yep.
good battles as well. There's been a lot of race respect by some drivers as well. I mean, if you think back to the move earlier on with Jake Burton. I mean, Burton gave plenty of room into turn 2. It wasn't really to battle out of that stage. So a lot of smart racing to come this season from, I think, a lot of drivers out there. And I think it's going to be a close season. I don't think it's going to be a runaway affair the whole time, even though Pedersen is out in a fair gap over Sam Muir right now. It only takes a few poor rounds, and all of a sudden you're back in the hot seat to be challenged by somebody. So we've had a points restructure this season. Rush rounds now offer points for every single position across those 15-minute races as well. So it's going to keep the title race close to the season's end. And as I said, you've got 2 drop rounds in hand, but if you have 3 poor rounds, all of a sudden you're looking a little bit worse for wear in terms of how your gap could be to the rest of the field in the season. But don't take the first race for granted. Whole season's going to make you a champion.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're right, it will. But so far, and drivers have favourite tracks. Like I love Mosport, Phillip Island, Bathurst. Can't help it. This track might suit someone like Ben Pedersen, because I look at his last lap. It's a 23.866. Now, a 23.866, which is on his 15th lap of this stint. We're on lap, what lap are we on? Lap 33, and he's on a 23.866. Sam Muir's best lap for this race so far is a 23.884. So the last lap of Pedersen is still faster than the best lap of Muir. Now, Pedersen's best lap for the race so far is a 23.5. So that's only a 0.3 of a second drop from his best lap. So there's still some pace in the car 669, and Pedersen has done a great job tonight. We've got someone else going off at 6. It did look like there quickly. Didn't see who that was.
Russell Papperell has been off. It is.
Was
He's
it
just
Papperell?
going slow. He's about to be lapped by these
it
guys.
is
There he is
Papperell.
there. A couple more black flags have been served as well. Craig Schultz has got one to serve. Ferguson has just served one as well. Levine, unfortunately, is out of the server, or at least out of this race. He's still in pit lane, as he had a black flag to serve as well. So, drivers are learning the hard way about track limits here at Laguna Seca. It's not the easiest track to deal with them whatsoever, but they're learning the hard way at this stage of the season, and it's going to be a tough season throughout. And one thing that I can say is, if you want to win the championship, the one thing you must make sure you keep away from, that is penalty points. That is license points. You cannot afford to get penalty points throughout the season, because it can kill your championship incredibly quickly. And one poor race of incidents can stack up, 4 to 6 license points, and all of a sudden you're 15 points, backwards. So it's a tough pill to swallow, but it's to tighten up the driving of the races out there. So, long season, tough calendar as well. We've got these US circuits at the start, European circuits at the end, with an Australian one thrown in for good measure. It's not going to be easy for them, but I think it's going to be one hell of a ride all the way through.
Now, if you can answer me, I know on our YouTube channel, there's Mr. Wright Sim Racing. Can you tell me how many cars are here from Wright? I think I've counted 6.
So...
Is it 6?
Yeah, I'll click through the ones that I know. So there's Pedersen, there's Lawrence, which is 2, Dawson is 3, Reddit is 4.
Wilson.
Wilson is 1. Rodney Golan is another.
So I got 6. Is that it?
John Akers is another one.
7?
Find more. I think there is another one. Barry Punter's one of them as well. So
Oh,
that's
yeah,
8.
forgot Baz.
Yeah. And I think there's even another one that's signed up. So they've got a lot. They make up roughly a third of the grid just in their own team.
Yep. So we desperately need a couple of things. Number one, this is going to be towards my friend Hamish. On their little broadcast, Hamish, can you put on overlays to who we're actually looking at? Because I see a Riot car and they all look exactly the same to me. So, Mr. Riot, can you please change the red and the orange to green and blue or whatever?
Ben Pedersen, sorry, has just gone off at turn 6. So maybe getting a little bit too cruisy. Now, luckily, he's got off tracks to play with, but still. That is a
Turn 6
mistake.
is biting today.
It is biting hard. That's lost him a second to Sam Muir.
And he doesn't need to do it. See, these are the things that we talked about it last season. He doesn't need to do this type of thing. He made a lot of just little frustrating mistakes, and that's another one there. And you know, when he was 7.5, 8 seconds down the road, just control it. There's only about 8 laps of the race to go. You can afford to drop a second lap, and you're still going to win the race. Save some fuel. Do whatever it takes. Just your last stop's going to be nice and short. Here he comes now. Let's hope he's turned the tyres off. No doubt that he'll have some team members in there making sure he's turned the tyres off. You would hope. But every time he comes in, you can't help but get nervous for the lad. So hopefully he's got everything switched off, and he's just going to be a nice, steady pit stop here.
Hopefully he is, as we ride with Sam Muir at the moment now in the race lead. Pedersen has remembered to turn off tyres. That's good. So he's done well.
One good sign. It should be comfortably coming out in the lead. So a short stop, 9.6 seconds. Yeah, so he will come out comfortably in front of Dawson. So Pedersen will have a clear track on exit, and he's just got to get bored. Just get bored driving the last 7, 8 laps, whatever it takes in the last 9 minutes of racing. As for Sam Muir here, you would think that his is about as far as he'll go on fuel as well, because don't forget he went 1 lap longer in the first stint. So you would think now that Pedersen's probably run his tank dry, you would think that Muir will be pitting, and he does. So this is all pretty much clockwork, and you can be pretty sure that Muir's pit stop's going to be about 9.5 seconds, maybe a little bit less, maybe about 9 point. Okay, let's have a guess. 9.2 seconds.
9.5
will be the
seconds.
Muir.
What
What do you reckon?
9.5.
9.2 will be his stop.
Let's have a look.
I'm thinking.
Let's
we'll have a
see
look.
which one of us is right.
Hit your mark.
Are we going to go over-unders, or are we just going to let it ride?
Nearest to pin.
All right, nearest to pin. 8.3.
Bang.
I mean, you're off by a
So-
second, but still, he underfueled the car. He knows
no,
that he
I've
didn't
got-
need to
I've got
fuel
him-
it by a lap, so...
I'm stationary at 8.5.
Yeah, it's
On
saying,
my-
it's saying 8.3 on here, so, you know, we'll...
Okay, we'll
Plus
believe you.
plus or minus 2. Plus or minus
But still-
0.2, so...
Nearest to pin. Now, that was a $2,000 bet from what I understand, so
Unfortunately,
I
I do
PayPal.
not have $2,000, Bretton, so do you
Oh.
accept hopes and dreams?
No, we're going to put a horse's head in the back of your car. You'll find that shortly.
We are roughly 7.5 minutes left to the checkered flag here this evening. Jared McLeod, Rodney Golan coming into pit lane, so is Jake Burton as well. If we think about who on corrected order should be leading things for each class, well, Stefan Lawrence looks to take home the race win tonight for the silver class for Riot Sim Racing. And it looks to be, I think, Ellie Gardner for P2 in that class as well. So she's looking hot and ready to take that one out tonight. Dean Reddit looks to take home the bronze honours here this evening inside of the top 10. And what I think will be interesting is, I mean, off the back of, first round, I've got a couple of names that I think will likely get reclassified after round 3, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt for the next 2 weeks. The big names that I want to see do better, or the big names that I think are doing exactly what they need to do to go up a class. Stefan Lawrence is doing the right thing to claim himself as a gold class driver. Dean Reddit's doing the right thing to claim himself as a silver class driver. Drivers need to do better though. Craig Schultz and Harry Dodds need to do better if they want to remain in the gold class. Otherwise, more than likely, they will probably get dropped down to silver class as things are currently running. And then I think the silver class drivers are actually probably, the current silver class drivers, at least apart from Stefan, they're probably classified correctly at the moment. So I don't see anyone going down to bronze. But there might be a couple that go down to silver and at least one that goes up from bronze and silver to the next class.
Could be a case of what goes up must come down.
Yep.
Our man John Akers is doing very well as well, and he's completed his stops. Or was he? Not sure if he did a drive through as well, but he's P10.
Yeah, and you know what? He's P2 in the bronze class right now behind his teammate Dean Reddit.
Yep.
So those guys are
Yep.
looking to
So-
go 1-2 in the bronze class.
And yeah, exactly right. So and Reddit's actually put himself in a really good spot. So, what you were saying before, just because you're in gold, silver, bronze doesn't mean you're going to be locked into that group. So we've got 2 drivers from bronze in the top 10, and in front of some of the guys who are in gold class. So it's a very, very good effort by these guys, and we're down to the last 4 or 5 laps now. So if they don't make any mistakes,
Jake Burton
then
has
it's all
just
on
got
here.
himself another drive-through penalty.
Oh, hang on. If we just go to the Ellie Gardner is battling very hard with Pepperell and Akers in front here.
She is indeed, and she's got Damien Cairns not too far behind her as well.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of patience from Gardner here. She knew it was going to happen. She saw that Pepperell was going to make a move, and she's like, I'm just going to take the door when you push it open for me. And through comes Gardner into the top 10. And she's now also put a car between her and P3 in class, Damien Cairns. This is going to be a hotly contested final few moments here for the battle for P2 in the silver class here this evening, with Gardner and Cairns battling away. Pepperell's involved in this too, but he is a part of that gold class, of course. So Dodds has had to come in as well for, I think he had a black flag for another drive-through, so he's just completed that. And Burton had one as well. So both those guys have now sorted out their issues with drive-through penalties.
Yeah, well, we picked it, didn't we? We said, can we go to the to this race, and we got there spot on time. So well done to you, because that was, again, it didn't need to happen this late in the race. Like, I understand wanting to go for a move, but the points difference between positions sometimes just isn't worth, the risk versus reward. Is it really worth pushing that hard, potentially getting a penalty or getting car damage over, is it 4 points per position? I think it is. So it might not be worth doing that, but really what that's done is put Ellie Gardner, who started P10, back up into the top 10.
Well, the beautiful thing is it's a scaled point system now. So if you finish obviously on the podium, you're getting a couple more points. If you're in the top 5 and then the top 10, etc., etc. So, with it being scaled like that, it makes higher positions more worth it than lower positions. But what it does mean is you've got to be selective about when you're battling, how clean you want to be, and try and tighten up your act a little bit. So Ben Pedersen right now looks to take home the full Monty of 300 points for a race win here tonight. It's a hot way to start his championship. Muir will be a couple of points behind him off the end of the night, as off goes Russell Pepperell. It's a real shame for the Kiwi.
A lot of mistakes, a lot of unnecessary mistakes. We'll go back to Ben Pedersen, who has driven very, very well. Has driven exceptional. Last lap at 24 flat, 0.6 of a second faster than Sam Muir, who's now, the 7 seconds behind abouts, and that includes Pedersen making that unforced error. Didn't need to do it. And I still think Ben will learn from it. I think Ben... there's some people who are good at leading races and some who aren't as good at leading races. I think Ben is half decent at leading races, but he will get better at it, and he will get better at it. Sam Muir is actually good at leading races. But, those little mistakes that Ben made, could you imagine if that's a Chicago? It wouldn't go so well. But we have to remember, he was 13 seconds away from not being on the grid. So he's only just made it. He's cashed in. He was on pole position. He's made the most of it. He's driven very well. 2 minutes to go, and you would think, so long as he doesn't get a disconnect, that he's going to finish this off.
Well, he's only a few moments away from the first race win of the season. And currently on the clock, I think there's going to be 1 lap to go when we cross the line, Brenton, so we might actually get the white flag this lap. So it should be within time. We're not going to go very far over time. Might only be by a couple of seconds, actually. So Ben Pedersen.
Well, if that's the case, we also need to think how much fuel have they put in the car? Have they put enough fuel in to get this extra lap done, or have they thought, oh no, we're not going to do an extra lap? So don't be surprised if maybe 1 or 2 cars don't make it this far.
Yeah, or just might be on the ragged edge of it as well. And if you're one of the lapped cars, such as Rodney Gollan or Jared McLeod, and you think you're a bit, over the edge of fuel, you might just let Ben come past you.
Absolutely.
As he'll claim the checkered flag, and you won't have to do an extra lap in this race. I actually think it's probably better that you just let him past anyway, because then you don't have to do an extra lap. But
Yeah, no. But don't forget, if you're on the same lap, any of the cars in front of you could run out of fuel and you could make some gains.
This is true. This is very true. And if they are able to go for an extra lap, they've technically made it further than you, and they'll hold their position ahead of you if they don't get to the checkered
Pedersen's
flag.
actually dropped away from Gallon, the teammate Gallon.
Yeah,
so
I think he wants to give him another lap to try and attack Jared McLeod. So he doesn't want to hinder his ability to try and go for the move. Here comes Gallon though, trying to go for it on McLeod. Couldn't quite get there in this battle for P4 in the silver class, but right in behind them is, well, our race winner here this evening. Dominant performance. It was looking hairy from the get-go when he disconnected from the server right at grid time. 60 minutes later, though, he is a race winner once again in the IRWC. Ben Pedersen takes first blood in Season 3 of the VRS Porsche Cup Series. Defending champion Sam Muir home in P2. Daniel Benefield will cross the line in P3, but Alan Dawson is about to take home P4. Yep, we'll watch that back in a second.
Yep.
So Dawson will come home P3, corrected. Benefield will go to P4 as Stefan Lawrence is too far away to take advantage of the time penalty. This was the moment down here, though, after the line with Jared McLeod and Rodney Gollan, who are still on their last lap.
So want to look at this, because I reckon one of them's...
Oh, no, McLeod lost it on his own.
On his own.
Yeah.
Now, and has McLeod then disappeared, or no, he's got back into it? Yeah. So, unless there's a mistake there by McLeod. Good race by Pedersen, though. Dominant, has to be said. 5.5 second win. And was pretty clean throughout.
There are a couple of drivers here, Brenton, with black flags in the last lap. One of them is John Akers, the other is Russell Papperell. So Matt Howard's actually going to gain 2 positions in this race because Akers cannot commit to a drive-through. He can't commit to it on the last lap, surely, because... It ain't going to work. No, the start-finish line is before the end of the pit lane. So he's going to drop positions. He should have actually stayed out. He would have been better off crossing the line because he's actually just giving up time now.
With him, like the guys in right should be saying, it's not how it works, because there's the start-finish line.
Yeah, he's still got his black flag.
Don't think it's going to...
No, he's just given up unnecessary time by committing to it then.
Well, it's going to drop him a lap anyway, I think.
No, I think it's... It should give you 30 seconds.
He's a lap down. Can you see what position that gives him?
Well, we'll see what it is post-race. It should actually give us some corrected
order.
I've got him as
P16.
Well, he was in the lane at 16, but that's because Schuler was a lap behind him, so he was probably only ever going to drop to P16.
Yeah, so I've got him at P16 still. So it's a messy ending. Biggest gain of the race would have been Alex Schuler up 9. Where did it's got Daniel Benefield. So that 20 seconds will go on at the end of the race, obviously.
Yeah, it'll go on once the serve is finished. It's something that is applied post-race.
So he'll only drop
the
one spot. He'll only drop the one spot.
Only the one. So that's worked out fine for him here this evening. Let's have a quick look, though, at our overall results for the race this evening. Ben Pedersen takes the win ahead of Sam Muir, Daniel Benefield on the overall podium, but he will drop to P4 thanks to his 22nd post-race penalty. Alan Dawson, Stefan Lawrence make up the top 5. Lawrence takes home the win for the silver class ahead of Logan Howard, Gordon Marshall, Brady Stanley. Dean Reddit takes home the bronze class win ahead of Valley Gardner inside of the top 10. Damien Cairns, Matt Howard ahead of Rodney Gollan, Jared McLeod, Russell Papperell for the top 15. Akers ahead of Schuler, Lawford, Wilson and Nickel for our top 20 on the road. It's then Burton, Schultz, Dodds ahead of Fleming, Chapman, Ferguson, Punter, and then Watson, and then Levine and Fever, the only non-finishers on the road here this evening, ahead of Jake Remington, who actually never got going, unfortunately, here tonight for Jakey. As we have a quick look at our class finishers here tonight and how they all finished up. The gold class, it was Pedersen, Demure, Benefield, Dawson, Howard, Marshall, Stanley, Howard, Pepperell, Schultz, Dodds and Fever. We move to our silver class as well. It was Lawrence, Gardner, Cairns, Gollan, McLeod, Schuler, Lawford, Wilson, Nickel, Burton. And then for the bronze class, it was Reddit, Akers, Fleming, Chapman, Ferguson, Punter, Watson, Levine and Remington here this evening for those class honours. I'm just going to send a quick message out to Race Control to tell them who we need because I actually forgot to tell them who we need each week. So let me just quickly put this here. And I'll tell them who to get in for us for a quick chat.
Can you not right-click on their name and drag them up here?
Oh, I could actually. Yeah, let's just do that.
Yeah. Right-click and then say move to.
Hello, Kyle.
Hello.
Just quickly, could you please request the race winners for each class to come and have a chat to us? So Ben Pedersen, Stefan Lawrence, and Dean Reddit, please.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you so much. So what that means is, though, well, we've already got Stefan in the waiting room, so we might as well have a chat to him, of course, as he's just there with us. Hello, Stefan. Welcome in. Congratulations. P1 for the silver class this evening. A solid effort. You didn't manage to get a pre-qualifying time on the board across this previous week, so you've been slotted into silver class. But with performances like that, I don't know if you're going to stay there very much longer, will you?
Nah, I think I should.
You reckon you should?
Yeah,
I think you should too, because I picked him to win silver.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I'll wager that. I'll put 50. Nah, I'm kidding. Yeah.
I mean, we may just leave you there depending on how well Gardner and Cairns do across the next few weeks as well. If they're able to kind of match you, that may then say, look, they can match you, so you can remain. If not, then it might be up to gold class. But there's obviously teething things across the season. It's the season in changing. I think if you'd actually pre-qualified, you probably would have been gold class, to be fair. So, but it's given you an opportunity at least to give the other drivers a chance to match you. And if they can match you, it keeps you there, gives you a chance at the silver class title. If not, you go up to gold, you have a chance at the gold championship. But talk us through your race. It was messy out there from a lot of drivers. The track was messy as well. A lot of debris getting dragged back onto the circuit, which made off-tracks incredibly easy and getting iRacing black flags incredibly easy as well. Talk us through it from your perspective. Obviously, you had an early off, and then you kind of just got back into the swing of things. You only lost one position across the whole race, so not a bad loss for you in terms of a 60-minute affair at Laguna Seca. You did pretty well.
Yeah, like I messaged you before, so these were my first laps in the last probably week and a half, 2 weeks. So I wasn't coming in confident, but I knew I would at least have a pace out there. Yeah, I was very dirty on lap 1. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on it, but let's just say I was angry driving, and I got back up to 5th, which I didn't think I could have done. So yeah, it was messy, just trying to keep the car on the track. I felt like I had decent race pace, not compared to the top 3, sorry. But yeah, just more know what this track's like. So I just wanted to keep it on the road, and end of the day, got it done. Long race.
Well, you did well to make it to the end in such a long race. Of course, we go the opposite end of the spectrum next week to the rush round out at Homestead, Miami. Going to be a tough test for every driver out there. Of course, now that the reverse grid is now the 30-minute race instead of the 15-minute, how are you feeling? Because obviously you've got good pace. You could very likely be up the front at the end of race 2. How do you think it's going to go in that 30-minute affair there? I mean, we're running the road course B, which has the oval final corner instead of the infield final corner. Do you think we might be in for a nice and tidy rush round, or do you think it could still be as messy as ever?
Yeah, rush and tidy definitely don't mix. You know that. I think, I don't know. It really depends on. It's a decent. I think it'll be fine. Everyone in here is respectful enough to a certain degree. I think it'd be it'd definitely be a interesting one. But I've just got to pull my finger out and actually do some practice. That's my issue.
Well,
very busy.
Well, we'll see what practice can do for you. But thanks so much for coming and have a chat to us, Stefan. I won't make you give a shout out because there's 3 Riot cars we're going to be having a chat to, and I might leave that one up for Ben as the overall winner. But you can give shout outs to anyone else you wish to outside of the team or anyone who may be watching. And for myself and Brenton, congratulations on the top 5 finish and the silver class race win as well.
Thank you. Just want to thank, I guess, Mum and Dad for creating me so I could race tonight. I guess the missus, she doesn't yell at me when I race, so that's pretty good. Just want to thank Alan Dawson, my brother. Wish he crashed. Actually, no, I shouldn't wish that upon a teammate. And shout out to you guys for obviously hosting a beautiful broadcast like you usually do.
No worries at all. Thank you so much, Stefan. Best of luck next week at Homestead. Stefan Lawrence, our silver class winner here this evening. We're going to go to the other end of the spectrum now and have a quick chat to his teammate, Dean Reddit, who's won the bronze class here this evening. Dean, congratulations. Bronze class victory. Top 9 spot as well. A solid night, not only for you, but for the team too. You guys have taken race win honours across all 3 classes. That's what happens when you monopolise the field, I guess.
Yeah, thanks, Hamish. Yeah, no, it was a good night for everyone, I guess. Yeah, it wasn't long ago. I think we were doing another league race here 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I think most of the guys come in pretty on song for tonight.
Well, they did well. There were a couple of them that struggled, obviously. But one thing that me and Brenton have come up with, because there are so many right cars, Dean, can we get some colour differentiation between some drivers, please? Because there's so many of you out there that look the same. It can get confusing at times.
I think you guys need to earn your money. You need to be able to tell us apart. We'll talk.
We can do that. We'll just call every car Ben Pedersen.
Yeah, we'll just call everyone Ben Pedersen.
Well, geez, I don't know if someone was worthy of being put in the same sentence as Ben, but that'd be all right. I think the guys are trying to work on wheel colour, which is not something that sits well with me as I'm not a coloured wheel person, but I think there's a few of them out there running coloured wheels as a bit of a pointer for you guys.
Well, that's something that we can try and learn across the season, obviously. But talk us through your race, Dean. I mean, you outperformed, obviously, where you've been situated. If you manage to match this effort across the next 2 weeks, you're probably going to go up a class. But has this given you a bit more confidence now coming into the rest of the season, getting a top 10 finish and beating every other silver class driver other than your teammate, Stefan Lawrence?
Yeah, look, I the pre-quali session last week, I've been on holidays, so I didn't have a great prep for that. And the 2 tracks weren't really strong for myself, but I'd probably be aiming to be within the silver class at some stage this season. So, and hopefully, yeah, that if you ask me, challenging around the back of the top 10 is probably where I'm trying to aim at each race. So, yeah, pretty happy with how tonight went, even though I didn't really feel. I felt like I made a lot of errors, but obviously with the nature of the track being Laguna, everyone else was prone to the same thing. So, yeah, happy with how it's going, and yeah, definitely happy and aiming to shoot into that silver class, I think, Hamish.
Well, we'll see what your next 2 weeks look like across Homestead and Chicago, and whether you've done enough to get a promotion up a class. But Dean, you've had a fantastic race tonight. I'm excited to see what you can do across the rest of the season as well. You're currently sitting in the top 10 in the championship, and you're leading the bronze class as well. So it's a very, very good effort from yourself. I'm going to say the same thing that I said to Stefan. I'm going to let Ben read out the sponsors as he was the race winner, and since there are multiple of you, we'll give them the honourable shout out from Mr. Pedersen. We'll also test him if he actually knows the sponsors too. But anyone else you want to give a shout out to? I know Packets was out there commenting on the Right Sim Racing channel. But anyone else you want to give a shout out to, feel free. And congrats to myself and Brenton on the race win in the bronze class and the top 10 finish as well.
Cheers, fellas. No, thanks to you and Brenton, obviously. And Jack behind the scenes. Jack or James? Sorry. I can't quite remember his name. Just league organisers.
It is Jack.
Yeah, Jack. Putting it on, and we enjoy watching the broadcast back. I'm glad Brenton's back this round. Hopefully we'll get a chance to chat later on, Brenton. But yeah, just big thanks to the boys. What was that, sorry?
No doubt we'll have a chat. No dramas at all.
Awesome. No dramas. All right, fellas. Just a big thanks to the team, and I'm sure Benny won't stuff the sponsors up at all.
Oh, very good. Well, Dean, best of luck next week at Homestead. We look forward to seeing how you go. Thanks so much for coming and have a quick chat to us. And, if we don't chat to you next week, best of luck for the rest of the season as well.
No dramas. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you. Well, Brenton, I think the only word that can describe our next guest is probably the combination of prayers that the internet gods allowed him to race the whole race, but also dominance as well. They're probably the two best words to describe Ben Pedersen here this evening. Ben, congratulations. Race win on the board for round one. You had a bit of a scare early on, though, when you disconnected from the server right as the gridding went up. How frantic were you getting back into the session prior to that green flag dropping since you were starting in pole?
Actually, I already had practice of that. Like, since this new update, my headset now, if I take it off and put it back on, the app crashes, which I never had happen before. It actually happened in qualifying as well. I missed the first 2.5 minutes. So I had to change my qualifying strategy and put a little bit less fuel in. So, yeah, because obviously you're having a rest before the session starts. I was away from the sim. But yeah, I was panicked, definitely panicked.
So is that your VR headset that's causing that at the moment?
I'm not going to say it's a VR headset because it was working perfectly fine before the update. So I'm going to say it's the update. So iRacing, if you're listening, fix it.
I just meant more or less like, are you running VR and that's why it's having the issue is what I mean.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Always. Yeah, I run VR and D-Box as well. So.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you had a very, very good performance out there, obviously. You had a bit of a scare late in the race where you ran a bit wide up out at turn 6. But, I mean, I mentioned it to Brenton. I mean, pure dominance, really, across the race. How good has it been now joining this team, having that team environment around you for obviously the last month or so, getting prepped for this season, and then coming into this season now, knowing that Sam's in the same boat? What sort of pressure did that put on you in the preparations, or was it, business as usual, let's just get prepped for the next season?
No, look, there's always pressure. I mean, Sammy's always very, very consistent. And, I was looking at my relative a lot in the first third of the race, just trying to make sure I was, keeping the gap or increasing it if I could. Fortunately, it looked like that I was a little bit quicker through the corkscrew there, which was a little bit of the bane of my existence last time I raced here against a few other people. But, yeah, look, with the team, mate, they motivate me so much. They're very, very good. And they're funny as hell, too. That's the best part about it.
Well, I mean, it's always good when your team can help you have a bit of a laugh. Brenton, is there anything that you want to ask Ben before we let him give the shout-outs to the team and anyone he wants to thank?
Good job tonight, Ben. Very good job. A couple of questions I asked. Number one is completely to do with tonight's race. The other one's nothing to do with it. Number one is, what made you do that mistake with a couple of laps to go? Just lack of concentration, or?
No, VR emotion, mate. So towards the end of the race, the sun glare going at the straight before turn 6 hits your dash, and I couldn't see the brake points. So that's why, after I sort of worked out that, oh shit, I need to do something different, I was braking about 20 meters earlier than normal. So yeah, that's what it was. Just a little bit too much VR immersion.
And number two, I see your car's got Titleist sponsorship on it. I'm assuming you're a golfer.
Yeah, I'm a PJ member. I used to play golf full time.
Okay, so what's your current handicap?
I was a pro, mate. So no handicap.
You don't have a handicap?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Professionals don't have handicaps.
So there's no point asking you each week what your handicap is because you don't have a handicap. Roger that.
No.
So easy. All right, that's it from me.
Well,
Thanks, Brenton.
Well, Ben, you've hit a hole in one tonight. Obviously, pole position to the race win, a grand slam of victory for you. We'll see how many golfing references I get it across the season, but let us know who helps you get out on track, Ben. Anyone you want to give a shout out to as well. For myself, Brenton, and the rest of the league, congratulations on this race win, and congrats on the lead of the championship going into round 2 next week at Homestead.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and thanks for putting on this event, obviously, and thanks to the Riot Boys and all the guys racing. It's always a lot of fun. It's been great. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Ben. Best of luck next week out at Miami for round 2. Ben Pedersen, the ever-dominant championship leader, comes P1 at the start of the season. Starts off hot, Brenton. Starts off exactly how he would have wanted to. And if you ask me, for my money, it's one of the reasons why we both picked him to be the champion this season. He just looks unstoppable. And it's going to take probably a bit of bad luck for him, or some really a little bit of improvement from Sam to put the sword to him and say, hey, I'm going to challenge you. I want to go back to back. Let's do this, and let's race to the end.
Don't underestimate Sam. He's very quick at a lot of races last year, defending champion. And this just might not be a track that suits him, and it might suit Ben very well. So, yeah, we're talking about Ben being very quick tonight. Won the race by 6.5 seconds, but Sam will be there throughout the whole season. You can be absolutely sure.
You can indeed, and you can catch all the action live across the rest of the season as well, as we continue to go racing here all throughout. You can catch it all by clicking the like button, the subscribe, the bell icon too if you're watching over on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, you can click the follow button as well. It helps support us as the broadcast team, but also helps support the series we broadcast as well. Coming up this week on the docket for you, of course, Friday night, we are out at Homestead, Miami for round 2 of the IRWC Rodnock Cup for Season 2. And then Sunday night, 8:30 p.m, we're bringing you round 1 of Season 25 of the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans. Special time slot for that one since the Brisbane Lions made the grand final, and I'm going to watch that on Saturday. And depending on the outcome, may not be in any sort of state to broadcast, so we've just pushed that back by a day. But next week, we head out to Miami. Both of our series are heading here across Friday through Monday as well, so you can catch all of that action here on the channel. It's Rush Round Racing for round 2. You guys do not want to miss it. But for myself, Hamish Munro Brenton O'Brien alongside, appreciate your time, appreciate you joining us here with us once again. And a massive thank you to our series sponsors as well. The title sponsors, VRS Virtual Racing School, Infinity Broadcasting, SPP Graphics, and Blackheart Designs as well. Thank you to those guys for supporting the series. Thank you to everyone who's watched along with us as well, supporting it too. Get your friends on board. Come and watch some fantastic action across the week. There's many more to come across to the end of November. But thank you all so much. We'll see you guys next time. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
Control, feel the thunder in my soul, through the danger, through the pain, only one thing to do to get to victory lane, taking risks, full send, and in the end, be the best, it's taking over, cannot contain, the desire to get to victory lane. Of the past, the roaring ghosts that never last, but here I stand, the finish line, one last race, one last time, through it all, get past the pain, cutting laps, making gains, feeling tired, get to my aim, the desire to get to victory lane, speeding faster, no control, feel the thunder in my soul, through the danger, through the pain, only one thing to do.